Hello, everybody. I didn't even give Ashwin a count in, so he did it for me. But um, welcome. I'm very high energy, as you can tell. We just lost. Timberwolves lost to the best team in the NBA. It says by 9 points, 125 to 116, but really it was like a 15 to 20 point loss there after that fourth quarter. Jake Layman came in, spiced things up for a minute or two, um, but
Team
no.
I plus four.
Yeah, team high plus four. Um, you know, First initial reactions, overreactions, underreactions. That's obviously what we do.
And just
Um,
reactions.
we have reactions. My first reaction is I'm not mad. I don't know. Like we played the best team. They've lost 14 times this year and won 59. You know, like we're an above 500 team, and that's something that's good to us. They're an above 700 team. So
Yep.
like
Yeah.
it's
Above 700.
yeah, it's a different level of like skill on that team, and they are so deep with skill. I mean, their bench is skilled. Obviously, Devin Booker is has transcended. I mean, he is like an all star player now, like very high level player. DeAndre Ayton, you know, eats us alive
Cooked
every
our
game,
ass.
and I love him. I love him. I still stand by my comments earlier this season. You'll have to watch the VOD. I'm not going to reveal any hot takes that I made earlier this season. Um,
Oh,
but
pounds for Aiden.
yeah, but I
Yeah, we might have to give up a first for that.
yeah, we would because he is tremendous. Um, so I guess to finish my first thoughts, I'm going all over the place.
No.
I'm not mad. Please tell everyone that I'm not mad. no,
Everyone, not mad.
and two, Carl Anthony Towns cost us that game. Anyways,
Yeah, totally.
what are
Totally.
your initial reactions to the game?
I enjoyed parts of what I saw in the second half. I will say that I missed probably a good chunk of the game, a game that was imperative for us to come out the way we probably did. I will rewatch and like verify that, but of course, based on what you guys said in chat as well as what I saw through the box score, um, we responded to our loss yesterday or on Monday,
Mhm.
and that was a key for me. Um, you said the word skilled. They are the best team. Ben said that they are 44-0. By the way, after they lead in after they go into the fourth of the lead, they didn't go into the fourth of the lead, but they are above 500 going down into the fourth quarter. Like crazy, right? That's such just a well disciplined team. You said skilled. I think it's disciplined.
Yeah,
I
discipline is
think
probably a better word.
I think we have more skill on our team than they do, and it's weird to say that out loud. But we don't translate that skill into winning quite yet.
That's true.
We don't translate that skill into consistent performances quite yet. They've gone through it. They have I wouldn't say militant coach, but a player
Hmm.
forward coach
Yep.
with discipline at its core. And they have Chris Paul who gives no quarter to anyone, spinning off on turn, right? So um, they have the person to play for, they have the coach to play with, and they have a young squad that's hungry and disciplined. It's crazy in the West. Phoenix and Memphis, 1 and 2, they're young, they're disciplined, and they're kicking everyone's ass.
Hmm. Yeah. Um, I do like that clarification. I do think that they do have tremendously skilled players, but I mean, when we talk about the bench specifically, that's where the discipline does really come into play because they can just continue to go. We had that 15-ish point lead, 14-point lead, I think, either at the half or before the half. It looked good, but I think we all kind of knew that lead was not going to stand. Um, I don't think we knew we would lose necessarily, but I mean, always a possibility. But I think that we all as Timberwolves fans realizing how mentally tough Phoenix is, that they were just going to chip away at that, whether that meant getting 2 points a quarter back or not. They were going to keep doing it, and then the fourth quarter came, and they were like, "Yeah, this is winning time. It is our time. We are going to do all of our best plays to make everything work." And it did. And they got Towns out of the game with that silly fifth foul, which immediately I was like, yeah, that's the game because
The
we
game right there.
we cannot have Towns not out there when one Aiton is going off. Not that Towns was stopping Ayton, but like Nas is certainly not going to stop Ayton, and they can just keep running it back to him. Just lay in, post move, post move, post move. It's like it doesn't matter. He is just going to score. We're either going to foul him or score. And then when we do collapse to try to do that, then they have all their 3-point shooters available. Devin Booker's obviously insane from 3, so he hits that crazy deep 3. And, it's just game over. You knew it was game over the minute Towns got his 5th foul. And the fact that it was a flagrant. I will say, I didn't think that Jay Crowder's foul was flagrant. I was so surprised in the first quarter or first half, whenever that happened. Second quarter, I think. That should not have been a flagrant, at least from the views that I saw at the stadium. And from Cats, it was hard to tell from the views from the stadium. It didn't look flagrant to me, but if Jay's was a flagrant, then it definitely makes sense the Cats was. So, I don't know. It was a fun game, though. I had fun at that game. It was insane. First half, especially the beginning of the second or the end of the second quarter, was very exciting. Technicals going everywhere. Players falling all over each other, getting each other's. Towns facing off against Crowder. It was like crazy.
Facing off?
Oh, they were face to face after Towns dunked on him, and Jay came down, didn't like it because I think Towns did the "you're too small" kind of a thing, and then Jay came down. They were face to face. They both got technicals, but Towns was like he got the technical called, then he turned immediately away from him, went to the crowd and was like, I'm in his head. And then he got the technical too. So it's like, oh gosh. I like the intent maybe, but at the same time, that was an exciting moment. I'm not going to go against that moment. That was a really exciting moment. That felt like playoff basketball. That felt like a team that we haven't experienced in a very long time. So yeah.
Feels like we want to be in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it feels like, but we're a team trying to find ourselves still. I think it's going to take a year or two to really kind of like nestle into what we want to be as a team. That's a harsh reality. We kind of came into this week thinking this is going to be a week from hell. This is finals week, right? This is like prove it or like, I don't know, I wouldn't say lose it, but prove it or 7th seed, right? And it doesn't hurt to lose games like this, but it does kind of sting the way that we lost. And it feels like a running theme, almost like a running gag throughout the entire season. It's the way we lost. It's how we found a way to lose this game or that other game or the Orlando games. Like, just between the ears, man. It's all between the ears. You're fucking doing this, Towns. Like, this is also like, check yourself because you're clapping at him, getting your 15th tech, right? Like,
oh, true. I didn't even
we can't afford our $33 million center to be less than and get himself taken out of the game on a routine basis. It's been more consistently this season to have him off the court than on the court at times, right? It's like he gets himself in foul trouble and we can't play our team basketball. Ant disappears, D'Lo disappears. Those three are our running, mantra for this team. And they score, I don't know, 0 points in the fourth quarter between the three of them. It felt like that at least. 15 points in the second half, according to Gerald Becker. But like, that's weak as fuck. That's weak sauce. That's worse than any other big three in the league. I don't know. That sucked to see.
It did. And I do think that it's, I know people don't like this because I know people are very adamant for D'Lo, but man, D'Lo's got to come to play here. He just does. And I would say, maybe foolishly, I have this expectation that, with D'Lo, you get runs of good shooting, and when the good shooting is on, it feels great. But when the good shooting is not there, or even okay shooting's not there, it feels bad. And he is in a bad spot right now. I know when he's out there, he's getting assists every night. He's getting at least 7 assists every night. I get that. And I understand that he is a big part of our offense, even if he's not making shots. But, we're coming to winning time, and we need him. Sure, maybe he'll be hot when we get into the play-in or playoffs, That would be great. I would love to have that. But, whenever D'Lo seems to get hot, it seems to take away from Ant and a Cat. So, there's just this... There is kind of a question of does this big three work in a way? Not that that's a question that we need to be having right now. But I do think that's a good offseason conversation, especially depending on what happens here in the last 2 or 3 weeks of the season. But D'Lo needs to come to play. We cannot... Ant, even though he didn't shoot great tonight, he shot good enough to... I thought made some winning plays. Ant seriously does have an issue with dribbling, with turnovers, with layups, especially. I don't know what is going on with the layups. It has got to be mental at this point. And then the Towns thing, there's just a lot of mental non-toughness happening with the Timberwolves, which is bad. Going into this time of the year playing against these good of teams, you can't have that happen. And it's just annoying to have us be talking so much smack in the game and then just get absolutely trounced in the fourth quarter like we deserve,
Second half.
Yeah, second half, yeah.
Was it like 74 to 54 something? They just owned us the second half.
Yeah.
Walk me through the first half as we kind of like talk about like getting out of the gate, like how it looked, how did Cat look, how did the starting five look, because it felt like we kind of came out hitting hot.
We did. I mean, everything was just kind of flowing in the beginning of the game. I will say, this seems to happen the most to us whenever we have a good quarter. The Suns were missing quite a bit. The Suns were having some open looks from three. I mean, this has kind of been a theme of our games, is our opponents are getting open looks, like the Memphis or the Mavs game the other day, where they were getting some looks in the first half, but they just weren't going in. That's exactly what happened. They were 5 of 19 at the end of the first half, I believe, today from three. And we were like 9 of 16, I want to say, or something like that. So we were shooting well from three. They were shooting poor from three. And we were just taking advantage, the crowd was into it. Our defense was playing pretty good, but at the same time, they were getting the looks. They just weren't making them. But for us, yeah, I mean, it was flowing. I mean, Ant was working. He was getting some buckets. Vanderbilt was getting a lot of buckets there in the beginning of the game. I believe maybe all of his 12 points happened in the first half. He was getting a lot of second chance points. He had 6 offensive rebounds today, and I bet all of his 12 points came from each one of those offensive rebounds, because he was, maybe not, but a lot of them were, because he was getting a lot of putbacks and dunks early, and Vanderbilt was really contributing in the beginning of the game. So, the first half was super fun. The crowd was more into it than I've heard at any other game this year. I mean, obviously the last 2 games, both the Lakers and the Bucks, were loud games, but this one, the crowd was into it. They were just ready for the game, which was really, really exciting to be at. So, fun game. But then the second half happened, and that's where the most winningest team this year came to play, and just chipped away at any lead we had. I will say, the third quarter, I know you're asking me about the first half, but the third quarter, the Suns definitely were there in the third quarter. They were coming back, but we were fighting. There were lots of possessions where me and Maddie were sitting there like nervous because it was like so crazy. There were so many passes happening, almost turnovers on our end, but then we were just fighting. Like Jalen Noel would get like a 3, or Taurean Prince would hit a 3, or drive for a layup. There was just plays being made. There was some toughness out of that group that kept us close, at least. But then, then as we talked about, the fourth quarter just happened. So,
yeah,
I don't
know. Funny
as
shit though, man. Like I felt that crowd, and I came in late, and I felt them, and it felt like it was really exciting and eccentric. So I'm glad that you guys got that opportunity. There's probably been some amount of games like that this season, but I bet you that was probably the loudest it's ever been since I could probably remember, and I wasn't even there.
Crowd was ready. This was at the time. I mean, it was like a playoff game at a point. I mean, I haven't been to a playoff game, so I guess I shouldn't talk. But like, it reminded me of what I've seen through the TV, where the crowd is just into every play. I mean, the crowd went crazy when D'Lo and J-Mac did that one, the unbeatable play or whatever, the greatest play of all time or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
The crowd went crazy for that. Yeah. Pat Bev did this like crazy behind the back fake pass that in the first half the crowd went insane for. It was the same hype level as when Rubio would do something. It was crazy. It's just fun, I mean, to have that many fans there and have a good game. I mean, it sucked at the end to lose, especially to have them just like, I mean, they were hammering us at the end. But for I'd say 3 quarters, it was a really fun game to watch. So yeah, I don't know. You wanna? I don't really have anything else to any first reactions. Well, I guess I do have a couple other things. So right off the bat, I mean, losing this game hurts a lot because now the playoffs. We're still gonna be in the play-in, no doubt, and there's still a possibility that we could get that sixth seed, but it's gonna take quite a run. I mean, the sixth seed is still very possible. It is very possible. Denver does have an easier schedule than us, but I mean, the Timberwolves have been fighting, and we played pretty well against the best team in the league. But I mean, that doesn't win you anything. So, I'd say sixth seed is like a. I don't know if I have a percentage, but it's definitely still possible. But I think we all should at this point. We really had. I mean, you asked the question last game: is this a must-win game for us? For the 5 seed, 100%. Like the 5 seed's gone now. The Mavs won tonight without Luka. We play them on Friday. Sure, that could help, but like, I mean, they look good. They look like they're about to be the 4 seed. Actually, I think they are tied for the 4 seed right now. So that's interesting. But and maybe Utah's the team that we should be watching instead. I haven't really paid attention to their schedule, but
Wild. It's almost like Candace Parker said this last night on TNT. Just like it's a wash. Like you don't play for the matchup. You can't position yourself because every matchup is going to be fantastic, and it's anyone's conference, anyone's season. The first seed in the East is bickering with itself, and Jimmy Butler is going head to head with Spoelstra and like a 44-year-old vet. So we're so ridiculous.
We're
sleeping on Boston and Milwaukee, and they're just surging right now. And then here we are in the West, like not knowing what Golden State is. Memphis is killing it on both sides of the ball, and Phoenix is kind of just like business as usual. Crazy, right? The teams are so stacked in the NBA that even Orlando is not an easy out anymore. Maybe the easiest teams are like Houston and OKC and things like that, and fuck it, like in a couple of years that might not be the answer. That might not be the easy out. These are loaded teams, and here we are trying to find ourselves, and it's been pretty interesting to see the season develop and create like an identity. But we're as Twitter was somehow trending in this direction tonight, they were calling us villains and shit like that, and like we're not villains. We're just young, dumb, happy to be around, figuring things out right now. Timberwolves, like we're not anything. We're just trying to figure this winning out.
Yeah, and unfortunately, our players are getting a little cocky, which sucks because like we are gonna be probably the 7th seed. So nothing wrong with being cocky and confident, but it makes nights like tonight sting a lot more than maybe they should, because I think the realistic reaction to have from this game is, wow, we lost to the Suns, the best team in the league. They have 17 more wins than us. They were 1 or 2 seed last year too, so like they are the team. We should lose, even though we are better. We should lose, and we made mistakes tonight. We made crucial mistakes in the third and the fourth. But yes, it is. Godfrey, Wolves too focused on drama. We really are. But hey, it has led to more winning this season. Maybe that's not the cause of the winning, but I do think that there is an important factor to have a little bit of swag, as they've said, when you are winning, because I think that does put other pressure on other teams. But yeah, if you look at the standings right now, we're 1.5 games back at Denver for the 6th seed. So 1.5 games is very achievable considering we play Denver in a week and a half. And we don't have an easy schedule coming up. We'll talk a little bit more in depth about like the rest of the games coming out, but like the next couple games, obviously we play the Mavs again on Friday at home, so that's an important one. Losing that game would pretty much guarantee the 7th seed. I think or not the 7th seed, the 6th seed. I would say personally, Friday is a must-win game if you want any hope at that 6th seed. It still wouldn't be impossible, but it is highly, highly unlikely. And you've gone from at the beginning of this week controlling your own destiny for being the 5 seed or even higher. Given, I mean, not every team wins their last 10 games of the season, but like there was that possibility. We were in the 6th spot. All we had to do was win, even if we're playing good teams. And we've lost both games. Denver's won. Dallas has won again tonight. So, it's just immediately we're now on our heels. clinging on for any hope of that 6th seed. Um, and then, but after Friday, I mean, we do play Celtics on Sunday, which is going to be a tough one at Boston. But after that, it's not crazy. It's not like the top tier teams. It's more like closer to our level, which we should hopefully win some games. But, um, but yeah, I don't have anything else to say after that. You want to go into the over under whatever?
Yeah, over under tier list time.
Boom.
Get your likes, noties, and boaties
Yes, if you haven't
in there,
if you
and
haven't
share with your friends, and
yes, if
boast
you haven't
about.
liked the stream, like the stream. I think that helps us or something. Like it if you want us to win on Friday.
Yeah. We're the 7th seed. I think it's there for us.
Yep.
And that's going to be our test. We have to go through the play-in. That's going to be our test this year. And I think I won't be disappointed if we lose out. It would be a frustrating way to go out, but I don't know if this team is ready. That's my take as we go to the over-under. Where am I? Suns. Patrick Bev. Did he make 1.5 threes? The answer was no. Went under with 0. Did Ant have a total of a block, 1.5 blocks and steals? The answer was no. He had 1. Did Ayton go over rebounds? 9.5 was the line. He went over with 14. And did Phoenix shoot over 49%? The answer is yes, with 52. Discord and everyone else everyone stank the bed on the over-unders. And I think the big boy is up to something with those stats, because I think we win this game if Patrick Beverley, pops off for a couple threes.
Yeah.
If Ant pops off for a little bit more, defensive-oriented stats, and if just a couple more shots go in our favor, just a couple more of those layups, Ant, just a couple more of those rebounds, denying Ayton those rebounds. Those are like getting Vando getting that rebound instead of watching it go out of bounds and then resulting in Booker's 3, right? Like those are plays that win a game, but create a winning culture because you see it in the flesh.
Yep.
But yeah, the big boys over-unders are on point. To the tier list.
We got a lot of players tonight. We're not going to do Balmaro, Jake Layman, Okogie. Not happening. But we will do it. We'll start with Jalen Noel and Jordan McLaughlin. So we'll do what we kind of normally do. So obviously this is just for tonight. A1 is unforgettable. Wancho is terrible. You guys already know. And C is expected. So we'll start with Jalen Noel. 12 minutes, had 15 points. 5 of 9 shooting, 3 of 5 from 3, and only 1 foul. Cool. I would say for tonight, I'd probably give Jalen Noel probably a B. I mean, this is probably better than I expect. This is a lot of shooting. He was out there for 12 minutes and scored more points than he had minutes. So that is good. If he would have had more minutes, maybe he would have scored more. But I get that he's a defensive. Well, he's not a defensive stopper. But yeah, I think this was a pretty good game from him. And when he was out there, he, like I said, and especially in that third quarter, he was really fighting for buckets. And I think that's when he scored most of his points.
It looked like from the box score, he scored a couple threes in the second quarter and a couple other buckets to get him in 10 points in that second quarter. And then, yeah, the stint that he got in the third to get 5 more, which is cool. It would be an A game, but Finch is an F tonight, and or could be an F tonight, and didn't ride the hot hand, man. Yeah. That is something that will be a lesson from this season. Is he's figuring out this team where last year he was just like brought on impromptu, and just saying, hey, play this crap out, where here's a couple of systems, and then we're learning the systems in the offseason and in the beginning part of the season. And then when things are shifting, when people are and teams are reacting to us, we have to kind of pivot, and we're learning how to pivot. Jalen Noel is a byproduct of that, where he's going to get minutes sometimes. He might not get minutes this time, and next game he's staying ready. He's phenomenal. Like, I can't believe we get the production from him on a night-to-night basis when he is or isn't playing. Yeah, microwave scorer in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's true. Well, anyways, B for Jalen. Next up, Jordan McLaughlin. 4 points in 16 minutes. 4 assists, 2 steals, 2 of 4 shooting. He had 1 crazy layup to put us up in the third quarter, late in the third quarter. And he had 2 steals. I mean, he's just been so clutch with these steals lately. I know he's not. He did take a few threes, only 2, I guess. Felt like a lot more, but he missed them both. I'm not a huge fan of him taking threes if he's not going to make them. But I guess I could say that about anybody. I'd say for Jordan Mclaughlin tonight, I'm just going to go with a C. This is pretty close to what we expect. Maybe a C plus for the steals. I don't think this was any insane game. This is pretty close to what I expect. Maybe a tad better, but close.
Yeah, I loved what I saw him when he was on the court, but he didn't get enough chance out there, and I felt like sometimes it can be, a size liability more so than a defensive liability, just like a size matchup issue.
Yeah, yep.
Like Cameron Payne, I guess at times was scorching him, and you got to sub him out when Cameron Payne is kicking your ass. So, having a bigger body like Ant or like Beverly or even D'Lo to just like stop some of the penetration is important. However, I really like what I saw out of McLaughlin. Wish I had more out of that. The McLaughlin, Noel, Beasley, the trio is doing really well for some reason. Even in moments where I was like, why isn't the starter on the court? Well, they're proving us wrong at times where they're like, when the game was kind of like almost in Sun's favor to close out the third, boom, there goes Jordan McLaughlin with the steal, a pass, a putback. It's sick.
Yeah.
To have that reliability on the bench is awesome.
It is. And, earlier in the season, we were wondering if we even did have that reliability because we did not see that version of J-Mac. But now we are. He's back. And it's definitely a good thing to see. But all right, next up, Naz Reid. He had 10 points in 17 minutes, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, a block, 3 of 6 shooting, and he did hit a 3 tonight. He did have 4 personal fouls though, getting cooked a little bit by Ayton, a lot of it by Ayton. I guess I'm leaning towards a C. This is pretty. It's maybe a little bit more scoring than I expect, but pretty close, honestly. I guess this is a Nas game. I mean, it wasn't. It's exactly what I expect. That's basically what I'm going to say if I go off on some long tangent. It's just exactly what I expect. The rebounding is not great, but he did have a few tonight, so whoopee. But 10 points is good for your backup center. He's not terrible, but he's not great. So.
Yeah, it was really awesome in the first half. Looking at least the box score, he didn't have a whole lot of playing time. That means Cat's kind of doing it. Cat's doing his business. What Nas does on a routine basis is supplant Cat. Just get minutes out there, be an energy big at times, get a couple of rebounds, get a couple threes or dunks. Just be that person. And he had to do a lot more tonight, and he had to do a lot more containment and had to be present defensively. And oftentimes that's his weakness. And while he's nimble, while he's quick, he can't do a thing against Ayton. And Ayton cooked him.
Yeah.
And as Ayton should, not a slight against Nas. And I don't think we should punish Nas for that. But yeah, it's a C game for him.
Yeah,
he had to play. He had to be out there,
Yep. And
sometimes I wish that Nathan Knight was out there, just to get another body, just another different look at the center's position.
I think I'm kind of more on Nate Knight's side recently, but yeah, the one of your points though, he didn't have to play so much in the first half, because Cat only had 1 foul until late in the second quarter. I remember he got a foul with like a 2 minutes or 3 minutes to go in the second quarter, and I was like, no, this is probably his third or fourth. And I was like, oh, it's only his second. I was like, fantastic. That's okay. We have 4 fouls, then an allowance in the second half, and then they just all went away, like all of them. So that's when Nas really had to put in minutes, and I had to deal with Ayton in the fourth quarter, and that was bad. But you're right. Everything you said was perfect. He's a C. Not anything bad towards him. Just he's a C. Next up, Taurean Prince. 10 points, 2 rebounds. He was 4 of 10 shooting tonight. Interesting. It felt like he was better shooting tonight. Only 2 of 6 from 3. And he was a minus 10. I mean, everybody's kind of minus tonight. But he did have 3 personal fouls as well. I think he just had a hot beginning to the game, maybe, because like I'm remembering good moments from TP tonight. But if you look at that box score, that isn't anything too crazy. I guess after maybe I'm just on like this Taurean Prince high right now, where like everything he does I can't really view wrong. Like I know everybody was mad at him in the last game for taking all those threes in the fourth quarter against the Mavs. I wanted him to because I know he can make those. But And tonight I felt good with him out there, but apparently he didn't shoot that great. I guess that makes me lean more towards a C. I was leaning towards not anything crazy, like maybe a B minus, but like, but yeah, maybe he was a C tonight actually.
Yeah, I would agree with you. A C, B minus is fine.
Mm-hmm.
That's nothing bad. I would say even B minus is probably more accurate, just because what I saw tonight was very little Taurean Prince on the second half because Vando just outshined his role.
Yeah, yep.
He was playing very well. A rebound performance, a rebound king like performance from Vando.
Mm-hmm.
And it's exciting to have that kind of energy on the court at all times. Usually when Taurean Prince comes out is when Vando's not doing much, not giving a fuck, or in foul trouble.
Yeah.
Then Taurean Prince has to kind of overcompensate. Well, Taurean Prince played his role tonight, and that's exactly what we expected.
Yep.
I wish we saw more of him in the second half. It's so funny, right? I wish I saw more of my bench, more of our bench in the second half. But I don't know. I trust him more than I trust a lot of the players these days. And here's the funny thing: Noel, McLaughlin, Nasri, they haven't been anywhere on the court late in the season, except for like dumpster time. No postseason like play. No postseason experience. And this is like a postseason playoff like atmosphere. Well, Taurean Prince has been there before, so that's the guy on our bench that's supposed to kind of like filter all this crap and like get everyone galvanized and excited for this game. And well, I love the pickup even more and more every day, and how he's been able to like get his through whatever the crap our unit fluctuation has been like. It's been really a nice sight for the season. And what's up, Yehaj?
Yehaj, what was it? Bang wagon, yeah. But yes, I was also sad, but we lost to the best team. But yeah, no, I love seeing Taurean's contributions to this team. I think he weirdly has made it almost necessary for us to figure out a way to either bring him back somehow, or I don't know, I don't know. But yes. Anyways, Taurean is a C tonight. Last bench player we're doing tonight. Sorry, were you gonna say something? Okay, good. Sorry. I think I'm hearing my dog whining too, so I'm hearing a lot of different things going on.
Yeah, sorry if we're kind of overlapping each other a bit tonight.
Oh, that's okay. Malik Beasley. He got 15 points in 22 minutes, 4 rebounds. I do think some of those points were garbage time points, but he was 4 of 9, 4 of 8 from 3, and 2 turnovers. I don't have a bunch to say about Malik tonight. Other than C, I guess. It was just another kind of pedestrian night. I always expect him to get like somewhere in that 12 to 15 points. I've said this like a million times this season now, but like that's what I expect out of him, and that's what he got. I certainly would have hoped for more. We could have used like a lot of 3-point shooting from him. Again, he is somewhat of this player that changes the entire game for us, because if he starts making threes early in the game, it just makes teams defend us differently. They have to fly over to him. Leaves more room for Cat, Ant, D'Lo, I guess, to make shots and make plays. And when he only is 4 of 9, like that doesn't command the defense to really change that much. That's like, okay, we'll let you go if you start getting to like 6-7 shots. Yeah, we'll start to go. But and I think 2 of his threes were in garbage time. I could be wrong, but I believe 2 of them were. So kind of a whatever night. Honestly, probably on the lower end of C for me tonight.
Yeah, right on. I share your opinions, man. Like, this is right. Like, there was a play where Beasley got the ball, or after like a drive and kick from Ant to Taurean Prince to Beasley for a 3 that brought the lead from 4 to 1. I was like, oh, is this the turning point? Is this where we react to what was taken from us, right? We earned this lead, and they were taking it, they were crawling their way, and they were just a more disciplined team getting back and then taking the lead from us. Was this our response? We struggled to really kind of get a flow after that play, but that was an awesome play. Beasley needs the ball given to him in his rhythm shot. Like, he needs to find himself when he's driving with the ball, when he's doing anything other than shooting with the ball. Man, it's a struggle. And so I want to see more of the I know who I am type of player from him. And when he gets the ball, he has to quick pass it out or quick shoot it. the funny thing is, Suns know who they are. Literally every player on that team knows who they are.
Mm-hmm.
They don't do anything really outside of their comfort zone. There might be some like gray areas with like Jay Crowder, and like Alfred Payton kind of does his own like dance at times. But like outside of that, they're such a disciplined team. Beasley feels like the epitome of like an X factor on offense, and a very like who knows who he is and who he isn't on defense. And like if we could pull and extract like a JJ Redick like out of him, it'll be so exciting and impactful for the future of this franchise. Didn't get a chance to see a whole lot of that tonight, and a lot of it is just because our core three, who usually has the ball in their hands, didn't find Beasley or didn't get anything going at all. It was the others that did it tonight.
That's true.
As Godfrey just said, 50 points from the bench tonight is pretty good. Starters didn't come through.
Yeah, true. Very true. Yeah, look at that. This bench scoring is kind of wild. We had 15, 10, wild. 10, 15. I mean, that's what you ask for on a winning night, and we just couldn't because none of our starters had over 20. So, crazy. Wow. I'm just looking at the numbers for the starters, who we are going into next. We're going to start with a happy one, and then we're going to end with some less happy ones. So first, we're going to start with Jared Vanderbilt. So Vanderbilt played 26 minutes, had a 12-12 game, 12 points, 12 rebounds. He was 5 of 11 shooting. He had 6 offensive rebounds. Pretty crazy. And guess what? He had 0 fouls on the night. Pretty incredible. Are you ready to grade Jared Vanderbilt?
Yeah.
I think I am. Okay. 3, 2, 1, A. I'm in between, just because like we do expect a lot out of him. But like tonight he was just, and maybe this is just because of the first half stuff that I was able to see, but like he just had so many hustle plays that converted to points. Like it wasn't like the last game where I was kind of not high on Vanderbilt, but like decently high on Vanderbilt, because he was getting those hustle plays. Those ones weren't necessarily turning into points for us, though. He was just giving us more possessions. Tonight, it wasn't just getting us more possessions, it was turning into points. So I thought it was a high-effort night. It's not a high A for sure. It's definitely in between like A and B for me. But I just thought, in general, his production tonight was much needed. We weren't close without it.
12 and 12. That's our Vando.
Yeah.
That's their Vando that we need on a night basis. We lost, so I can't give him an A. But if there was an A performance, that might have been one of 2 of these players on their starters. So, he killed it, did his role exactly as advertised. And the only thing is, Towns was guarding Crowder. Towns wasn't guarding Ayton.
Yeah. Yep.
Vando was guarding Ayton.
Yeah.
Ayton can get off whatever he needs to because he has the sky hook. He has that little bunny hook. He has the free throw shot. He has easy offense to get over anyone.
I love him.
But especially Vando, right?
Yeah. I mean, Vando's not big. He's just like, you can maybe put him on certain bigs. This is not the big you put him on.
Yeah.
This just doesn't work. Like, he's a little bit faster. Everything Ayton has, I mean, he's just this, like, prehistoric player, like because he has this style that is like such an old style, but it's just so good. I mean, I've said this before. I think I said this the last time we played the Suns. It really feels like you're playing like my team in NBA 2K, and you're bringing back like a player from the 1970s, and it's like he's just on your current roster, and that's DeAndre Ayton. Because he's just, I mean, like you said, he's got the sky hooks. It's just like he's unstoppable around the rim. Post moves to him are just easy, and he even has some modern elements. He was able to shoot a 3 late in the 4th quarter, so he's just a beast.
His career high against us, by the way.
Career high, yeah. I'm not surprised. The over under on him was ridiculous tonight. I won money. Thank you, Prize Picks, for not understanding that DeAndre Ayton cooks us every single time. The over under was like 17 points and like 9.5 rebounds or something, and I was like, holy crap. Give me over on everything, because I know it's going to happen. Even if we win the game, he is still going to get his. But yeah, Vanderbilt, I think it's fair to give him a B just because we lost, and I'm on the fence. I do think that it's hard to give a lot of people an A tonight, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, Vanderbilt clearly one of the best players tonight. So Next up, I have Patrick Beverly on there. Let's do that. So let's do Pat Bev. He played 30 minutes, had 9 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. He's got this down. He's like 10, 5, and 5 every night. No steals or blocks. That was an over-under tonight on Prize Picks, 1.5. I thought he was going to get the over. He didn't get a single steal or block. He was 3 of 7 shooting. He had none of his 4 threes tonight. Did have 3 personal fouls. Are you ready for a Pat Bev grade?
Yeah.
I think I am. 3,
I love those sound effects.
2, 1, C.
B.
Okay, the only reason I'm saying C is just because exactly what I said
He'd make
at the
his
beginning.
threes.
Yeah, he didn't make his threes. But also, this is just like what we expect out of him now. 10, 5, and 5. You know, we expect this. We expect the high effort defense. I didn't see like so many plays tonight that really had me be like, whoa, Pat Bev is out there, and like he's always impacting the game. I don't want to say that he's not impacting the game, but like, you know, there's games where he clearly is affecting somebody in such a major way. He affected players tonight, but I just don't think it was that same level of affecting. So I guess I go with a C just because this is pretty close to what I expect out of him.
The team feeds off of him on a night-to-night basis. It's not really like a grade on just tonight. But what he does give us is this stance on D and this behavior that we mimic. I feel like a lot of our players mimic him on the court when he's going hard. Yeah, so does Vando. So does Edwards. Edwards played Edwards. I don't think I've ever called him Edwards before. Ant plays a different style of defense when Beverly's out there, when he's not out there.
Yeah.
I also thought Beverly was going to be guarding Booker a lot, and maybe he did and didn't in the first half. But like, I don't know, like his role was maybe more of like a free safety, like disruptor than he would have been if like Chris Paul was there, you know, to get under the skin of Chris Paul.
Yeah.
His role was maybe partially diminished because Ant was doing so well on Booker, although Booker got his.
Yeah.
I don't see much else to really like comment on other than the fact that he didn't make a 3, and he was asked to shoot a little bit in those weird moments in the game where actually it should have been Cat, it should have been Ant, or it should have been D'Lo. You know, Beverly playing more than all of them, like it's a little weird, right?
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, Beverly played 5 for 3 more minutes, I guess, than D'Lo tonight. It is interesting, but I think it's a good example of showing these players like what it should be like every night for them. You know, we shouldn't have to. I mean, we hope to not have to use Pat Bev as like the second most minutes played on the team tonight. But I think it does show the players on the bench. It shows the other starters even. I mean, we're still a learning team, how to play. And Pat Bev has been doing that. And even tonight was doing that. You know, it just wasn't an insane game. So I agree that he has all those effects on the game. I still agree. I still think it's a C just because that's what we expect out of him. But a high C. A high C.
High C. Sweet beverage.
This is sweet
bev.
Cool. Who's up next?
Let's do Ant.
Okay, let's do Ant.
35 minutes, 7 for 17, 3 for 8. The only starter who had a 3 in the game. We went 3 for 20 from the starters, by the way. That was ass.
Gosh.
2 free throws, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 fouls, 1 steal, 19 points in total. However, 4 turnovers. I'm ready for a grade.
I am ready.
In 3, 2, 1.
C.
Yeah. So it's nice to have him kind of lead us in scoring and all that. That's nice.
God, he led
have him,
scoring.
You know,
that's insane.
Go about 40% from the field. That's cool.
Yeah.
To not get the calls, to not get to the line, to not control the ball, to not see that like obvious defender in the back shifting away from who they're trying to guard and to steal the ball and yoink it from you when you're a black hole on offense at times. And to just miss the shots you missed tonight. I don't know what's going on in your head, but what I see defensively is very encouraging. What I see offensively, I'm equally discouraged by. what I saw last year, I'm not seeing with this year. What I'm seeing this year, I wish I saw a lot of what I saw from last year. So I hope it's not this stupid ass injury that we keep thinking about and talking about and like worrying about. But like when we see nights like this, even though you score 19 and whatever, I still feel like there's something missing right now in your, I don't know, in your spirit or in your will to jump higher than you have, in recent games. So I don't know.
Yeah, I do think for one, I don't think he's injured anymore. I mean, that's not true. He's always going to be injured with this injury. It's not like it's just going to be gone someday. But I don't think he is being affected in any negative ways by his injury that will be affecting his play this much. Unless he's come up with a quote in the last 30 minutes or something. I don't think that is affecting his play. The layups for me right now are driving me crazy. Because I think it's at this point mental. He's missed so many that it is affecting him mentally. He's thinking about it every time he goes to get a layup. I also think that teams are defending Ant differently. Where Ant was able to succeed in the beginning of his career was he'd have an ISO out on the 3-point line. He'd be able to drive past that first player, and there was no backup at the rim. There weren't players clogging the lane. And now there are players clogging the lane when he is hot, which he was for a time tonight. He doesn't have that same ability. And there was a play, I had a bad angle. I was in a weird spot tonight in the arena, but where it looked like he was about to yam it on either Aiden or I don't remember who. And it was a miss.
On the play.
I don't even think it was a foul. It was just a turnover.
Yeah.
And it was like, did he try to dunk it? Did he try to lay it in? I don't know. But like, we've gone from the beginning of the season where Jim Pete's talking about how Ant has all these places off the backboard that he practices spinning his layups off of, to he can't finish a simple open layup. It is definitely a mental thing. I love what I'm seeing defensively out of him on a nightly basis, but offensively, it does scare me. I would be lying if it didn't scare me. I still have patience and I still have confidence that he will get better offensively, but I do think a lot of that relies on our other players playing well and giving him enough space to create. Because if he's going 1-on-2 or getting double teamed like he was in the Mavs game, it doesn't work perfectly. But yes, I what are we talking about in chat? Cute.
Oh, yeah. Your hair, and you in general.
Me?
No, Finch was calling Ant's drives cute,
Oh.
not enforctive, not empowering, not like authoritative. It's just cute. I agree. It's a hair away from what I want and wish and will Ant to be on the drive. He's slow. He's slowing down. That's great. That's smart. But he's also playing slow, like playing a step too slow or a hair too slow, or just like 0.5, like 0.75x speed on replay, just like, he's getting the ball stripped from him. He's not passing right away. He has to survey just that hair longer because, should he go in or not? And he doesn't dunk it. He goes up and then he's thinking about it and he scales back. Every play needs to be a dunk or a three from him. I'm sorry. It's got to be that way because that opens the court, that opens the floor, and that keeps our team honest. You know what they do? They sag off of Ant because they know that what he does is he's a black hole in offensive times, and he just takes that really stupid contested three. When he drives to the rim, they plug the hole, and so he doesn't know exactly how to really respond yet. It's going to take some time. It's going to take a couple years. I know, but it just feels like if you keep the shit simple, you're going to perform, you're going to outperform, and you're going to excel in these small roles that we need you to perform in.
Yeah, and I think if you start dunking, people are going to attempt to block you. But I also think that there are more people out there that if they see you dunk on people, they're like, I don't want to be a part of that. So I'm just going to allow it to happen in a way. Maybe not be as aggressive. But when you're laying it in, people are going to go, they're going to be swiping, you're going to miss foul calls. There's all this stuff that can happen. It's just a very passive way of playing, and I I think there's no reason that he shouldn't be. I think Finch is speaking facts, and I will say that I love that Finch says these things because he says them in ways that I think are constructive to the players. He says stuff like this to the media because I'm sure that these are conversations that he does have with the players. I am very curious to see how Ant grows over the next couple of years. I mean, at the beginning of this season, I thought we just had one. I thought we had the player to have in the over like a decade period, but now I'm less certain of that by a lot. So definitely nerve wracking. You said C is in cat, right?
Yep.
I agree. It's a C. Not a terrible game, but I mean those layups got to go in. Like you said, a couple Pat Bev threes, a couple Ant layups, and boom, this game is very winnable. So could have a 20-point lead going into the half or more. Could have a lot of point lead going into the fourth. Instead, we're tied. So
right.
Bad. But anyways, we got 2 players left. Before we do those 2 players, we're 3 likes away from 10 likes on the stream. So if you haven't already, go ahead and like the stream. We would appreciate it. But who do you want to do first? Do you want to do? Oops, I didn't. Oh, yes, I did. Who do you want to do first? Do you want to do Cat or D'Lo?
Yeah. So D'Lo with 27 minutes, 3 for 9, not a 3, not a free throw, barely any production on the board, 7 assists, which is awesome. 1 turnover, which I think is even better. Team high -14, and get that 6 points total. That means that's a Rubio stat line if I've ever seen one.
Oh yeah.
D'Lo as Rubio in 3. Do you have a grade?
I think I do.
In 3, 2, 1.
Wancho.
D. Ooh. I want to know more.
He is taking away from the team right now. He is taking away
totally.
actively from the team, and that is the definition of Wancho. He is he's 3 of 9 from the field. I don't care that he is part of our offense. He is that. I mean, I get it. I said it earlier. When D'Lo's out there, even if he's not scoring, he is contributing to the offense. I understand, but I think and maybe this is a little bit more from the past few games that we've had. Now it's just a lot in a row where it's like I can't stick up for him. He played 27 minutes tonight and he only had 1 foul. So, like, why is he only playing 27 minutes? Because he's just not on. He's just not contributing. I just feel like there's not a lot of redeeming qualities of his game recently other than his assists. But his shots are taking away. His shots are bad shots. That's the thing with D'Lo, though. His shots are, you either love him or you hate him. There's no in between. Because he is going to 5 seconds into the shot clock take a 3 or get a rebound, immediately shoot it like a weird long 2. It goes in, so fantastic. But if it doesn't, it's terrible. It's just the way it goes with D'Lo. So he's either an A or a D or an F on every night. He's like almost never in the middle.
He's a Wancho. Thank you for correcting me. In every letter of that word, no J, all Ancho.
Yeah.
Wancho. Yeah, I don't know what that was, man. I want to defend him to the moon and back because when he's on, he's on. When he plays the way that he wants to play, where he wills his team into scores, when he has that awesome crisp passing and playmaking ability, it's so awesome to watch. When he's on another level, another tier defensively, it's like, it's palpable. You see it. He's barking orders. Mm-hmm. He has been anything but that lately. He's been so bad defensively. He's been a turnstile, a matador. He's just been terrible. And what we need him to be is a leader and an orchestrator and also a shot taker. And when he takes shots, it's in the worst times of the game. Yeah. I feel like I know when he should be taking shots. I know when he should be creating offense for himself and be selfish or cut and be like J-Mac when D'Lo's out there. Yep. Like, why do I know this? I'm not on the court. I'm fucking, I don't know. I'm this like massive gorilla here. And he knows his game. where's that Brooklyn D'Lo, man? Where is that guy who was so in himself?
Mm-hmm.
He knew his game so well that he would be able to get to the rim at any time, get to the line at any time. We need someone like that because every team we face has some player that wrecks opposing defenses,
Mm-hmm.
cuts through. And when we have Ant not willing to drive every time, when we have Jalen Noel playing sparing minutes, the only other player, although outside of like a one and done cat, is D'Lo to craft his shot, to drive to the rim, to get anything else open. And that's Timberwolves basketball in my opinion. The drive and kick,
Yeah.
the give and go, the pick and roll. That's all orchestrated from the front line, from Cat, from D'Lo. I didn't see it at all.
Yeah. I agree wholeheartedly, and I am, I do think that D'Lo has the ability to make shots and make killer shots and be just a huge part of our offense. And it just all season we've talked about it. It seems like when one starter is doing well, or one of the big three is doing well, or two of the three, it's like whack-a-mole. It's like one goes up, the other goes down, and it's just like there's no way to have all three be up and good at the same time. It's only two max. Two at the max can play good in one game, and perhaps that's what's happening to D'Lo. But he has to find a way to make himself score, because if he scores tonight, we win. We win. And instead, he shoots 3 of 9. He gets outshot by bench players. So it's 4 bench players scored more than D'Lo tonight, individually. So not good. It's a Wancho night for D'Lo, and I certainly hope that changes on Friday. I hope it changes on Friday, not only just for him but for the team. I hope it's a win because not Wancho, because D'Lo came to play. But
we need to close out the season strong somehow.
He does.
If it would really be really cool if D'Lo finds a rhythm leading into the postseason, because that, out of everything right now, is the biggest what if.
Yeah.
What if D'Lo was an all-star this year? Like, how much different would this team be, right? Oh man. Anyways.
Yeah. And
I got pretty frustrated, pretty low, pretty out on D'Lo after tonight. And maybe, Godfrey was right this whole time, and probably he usually is, maybe he's been right. Like, this guy has been really fun to kind of explore what is possible with this team with.
Mm-hmm.
The long term, man, I don't see where this game is going to grow from. Like, is he always going to defer? Is he always going to be less than? Is he always going to be trying to get others involved and never his own shot? It's never been he gets his and others. It's always him or others, and it's usually these really weird stat lines that can't be really graded. It's just like a faded version of him always.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And the thing that Godfrey brings up all the time, and Godfrey brings up a funny point: 60-degree temperatures lately have been melting the ice. But no, I think it's concerning because I always kind of shook this off as nothing when Godfrey would talk about his contract. But I am concerned now. It is a $30 million contract. It's what you're paid to do. You got to figure it out. You're the one egging on the fans to be standing before the game, and you score 6 points. Like, just can't happen. Just can't happen. But anyways, Wancho. Next up, last of the night, Karl Anthony Towns. 30 minutes, 15 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists, 6 of 13 shooting, 0 of 3 from 3, 5 personal fouls, and a turnover. Are you ready to grade Cat?
Yeah, this is I feel like I had an hour to think about this, and I don't quite have an answer, and that, I think, is my answer. I'm ready.
I'm ready. 3, 2, 1, D.
D. All right. High five.
Yes.
Our stars, our ass. Bottom of the tier list. In a game against the number 1 seed, I wish we had our bench out there.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy to say that. And Jared also said D, so we're all on the same page.
Jalen Noel was awesome. Beasley was making his shots, 50% from 3, had the same amount of free throws as Cat. Fucking embarrassing. Mclaughlin was our best point guard out there. Taurean Prince could have played double the amount of minutes and been such a plus player out there.
Yep.
We have a luxury of our bench being something that we wish we were trying to find now, as opposed to being gifted a bench like this. And we're currently trying to find out who the fuck our identity is when Cat gets in foul trouble. We have no plan.
Yeah.
It's just ISO. It's just who can make a shot. Please run with it. And when Cat's out there, it's a liability because in any given play that he drives, if it's a small, it's an offensive foul because they can get away with it. And it's been a trend all season long, all career long for Cat, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And this, I mean, this game just, it's so frustrating because, you know, you need Towns in games like this. And he has played really well for the past couple months.
Oh, yeah. He borderline shut the fuck up. He shut us up.
Yeah, he did. He really did. But this is the Towns that we saw in the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
And
oh, yeah.
It's just immature. It's not mentally prepared for a game like this. He's just not. I mean, the offensive foul in the beginning of the fourth quarter is an offensive foul. I don't know if it's flagrant, but you know, whatever. Jay Crowder's was flagrant too. But it's an obvious offensive foul. You have to expect that, and it's just disappointing. This is what makes you nervous for playoffs, because what have we talked about?
Does.
You know, we've talked about the Houston series with Cat and how bad he was, and you know, to some extent we've maybe chalked that up as like a Tibbs issue or a Jimmy issue or just his first playoffs issue. But like, this is a big game today, and he didn't come to play. Sure, is he skilled? Of course. You know, he's been rebounding really well lately too. I will give him props for that. But you know, we need more scoring. We need more than 13 shots out of you. It's just bad. Yeah, and Jared brings up another good point in chat. We don't have a solid backup center. You know, it like Nas is okay, but like, I don't know if solid is the word that I'd use for him, because he can't guard Ayton. He just can't. You know, it's frustrating because in the first half of this game, I was like, maybe we want to play Phoenix in the first game of the playoffs. Maybe, because we actually are giving them a chance. Second half comes, it's like, nope, never mind. Absolutely do not, because we will be swept. 4 games, no wins. We will be swept. And I think that's somewhat due to Towns. I don't know if it's because Devin Booker's on the other side and he's trying to like show him up, but he always gets showed up instead. So he's just not mentally there. That's why it's a D for me.
Yeah, can you do something for me?
Yeah.
Can you pretend Karl Anthony Towns' stat lines as DeAndre Ayton? Can we redo this whole thing? Pretend that was Towns' stat line? Actually, I'll do it right here.
Yes.
Karl Anthony Towns' stat line, 35 minutes, 15 for 24. Ooh, what have you been saying all season long? Get 25 shots. 1 for 1 from 3, which, you know, that's a pretty low effort from Cat, but at least he made his shots. At least he made a 3 tonight. Yeah. 4 for 4 from free throws. You know, it's like, it's not 0, it's not 3 for 3, but we'll get there, you know? Mm-hmm. 7 offensive rebounds, 14 total rebounds, 3 assists, 1 foul. Cat, that's what we're talking about. Staying low to the ground, never jumping and reaching and trying to go for the blocks. Okay, 3 turnovers. We live with some of that creativity that you do. 35 points. Fuck yeah, dude. You're our MVP.
Yep.
Oh, that was DeAndre Ayton's score. That was your box score. Oh, gotcha. So the guy who is an unrestricted free agent, or maybe restricted free agent coming up here, just fucking triple dubbed you.
Yeah.
It's hard. Like, it sucks to be. It's great to feel wrong when Cat is on and is just 100% on another level. Mm-hmm. But like, there has been reasons why we look at a Bam out of bio and a Draymond Green and a DeAndre Ayton and these like bigs that have excelled in a new era, because they're big, they're gravity sucking. They are things that, like, man, I wish my big could do and our big cannot do. And that is what we have to deal with and live with as long as the Cat is on the court. But what Cat can improve on is just right here, right between the ears, or whatever this is, temples, and just stay on the ground. Never jump higher than you need to. The way that you shoot your jumpers, that's how you should approach the rest of your game. And stop bending over, hunching over, and reaching.
Yeah.
Stop getting those dumbass fouls that you always get. Because Cat, this team is riding to the end of the line with you. Unless you're on the bench, and then we're out in 4.
Yeah. Yep. We just can't have him be in foul trouble for one, and two, only take 13 shots on a night. You just can't have those two things happen, because it should look like DeAndre Ayton's stat line tonight, except with threes instead of some twos in there. So like we could be talking 40-point games nightly. It could happen, and it does need to be that player that sucks. Like everybody has to gravitate towards Towns because he's unstoppable. He can hit threes. He can drive. He can pass. He can do it all, and that's what he wants to do. He wants to do literally everything, offensively, defensively, everything. That's why he fouls out of every game. He is trying to do it all. And in order for him to be that player that demands that gravity of the defense, he just has to play disciplined. If he's just making his threes, he's posting up when needed, rebounding the ball strong, I don't care if he is not. I'd almost rather him stop defending at this point, because it's like, honestly, I don't feel like it's that effective. I'm not saying he's a bad defender. Maybe he is, but just the weight of the fouls outweighs your actual defense. So it's like, let's just hands straight up. Don't, like you said, don't leave your feet. That's it. Let's just have that be your defense from here on out, because we absolutely cannot have you fouling out of a game like this.
Yeah,
why we lost.
For sure.
Why we lost. But
it is why we lost.
And
you know that pump fake into a dunk on top of Jay Crowder at the end of the second quarter?
Yep.
He scored 3 points after that.
That's our star, MVP.
That's our star, MVP.
Yeah, it's we've talked about it all season. A lot of you guys here know that we've been, as Ashwin was saying, we've been critical of Towns all season, last season, because we see these mental errors that he's making on a nightly basis, and the fact that he rarely learns. We were so down on Cat in the beginning of the season. Funny enough, after we went 4-9, and that 9th loss was against the Suns. We were down. I said trade Cat for DeAndre Ayton, because I love DeAndre Ayton and I think he would work so well for us, which is just showing up greatly right now. But he just, when we were 4-9, I was at my lowest with Towns, because he's had 7 years. Like, we shouldn't be having to worry about, let's talk about like your mental toughness when it comes to basketball. Like, you're 7 years in, that should be good. You can be honing in on like, I'm really trying to like play better defense, or something like that. That's what you're working on in your 7th season, not like, can I not fall for a pump fake, or like, it's just like these things, and not just fall for one, fall for like 12 in a game, or offensive fouls, charges, all these things that just happen nightly for him. It's frustrating, and to your point, it felt amazing to have him shut us up for 2 months, because I definitely did not expect these last 2 months that we've had out of him. But if this is what he's going to look like in the playoffs, then we have a bleak future for a play-in, maybe not even make the playoffs. If this was an important game to Towns and this is how he plays, we're not winning a play-in game. We're not.
Ooh, that's the comment of the night, my friend. What does he do on the court when he disagrees with a call? He's like, I'm mad, I'm angry. What does he do when he makes a shot? He's like, I'm so strong, look at this. What does he do when he's like, what a stupid call? He's like, that's not right.
You know what he does? He looks up at the monitor, sees that the monitor's on him, and then he's talking to the fans and saying, that's BS, through the monitor at the stadium. That's what he did tonight.
Right. It's not what I want for my all-star. It's what we get to have. But I feel like, all right, we know what we have in Cat. I don't know if he does, but I think we know what we have. Mm-hmm. Is he an all-NBA player?
Man. I think he would have had a chance. And honestly, at this point, I heard apparently Zach Lowe said something really positive about them the other day. So I know you're not arguing whether he's going to be voted that. You're arguing just the fact, is he? I would say no. He just isn't. He just doesn't have the consistency, the mental toughness. I think that there are other players that are above him. I really do. Even if I don't even necessarily love those players, I think they're above him.
Yeah. Will he learn anything from tonight?
Yes, and Arizona Cardinals or Cards is correct. DeAndre Ayton is way better than Cat. Let's work a trade. uh, just kidding. I'm just kidding. That was a 4-9 thought.
Yeah.
I'm kidding at this point. But come back to me next offseason. Anyways.
Okay.
EA plays defense as an anchor. The Wolves have to hide soft ass Cat. True. It's pathetic, and he refuses to man up and guard DA. True.
AZ Cards, you think you're trolling, but you are not trolling a Timberwolves
We love
show
this.
right
You're
now.
100%
You are
correct.
assisting and supporting. Go ahead and
Thank
hit
you.
that like and subscribe and share with all your friends because we agree with you.
Yeah, you should subscribe. No, seriously, we're not trolling you. We're dead ass. Like, this is seriously our thoughts. Sorry, Kat, but it's true. But yeah, he's I think we both agreed he's a D tonight. I don't want to give him full on Wancho, although you could make arguments that he took away from the team with that foul, especially that offensive foul in the fourth that took him out. That was the turning point and the absolute, maybe it didn't feel like it to a lot of fans, but that was the dagger right there. When he got that fifth foul offensively, it was like, okay, cool. Now they can go down, give it to Ayton every single time, and he can dominate because Nas isn't going to stop him. Nas is either going to foul him or not guard him. So it's crazy. Oh, man. He gets the respect in this podcast. Trust me. I talk about DeAndre Ayton way too much. Way too much. I love him. And if you don't want him,
Even in our off days, he's just fucking texting me.
Yeah, I do. I'm just like,
DeAndre Ayton.
Did you see DeAndre Ayton's stat line tonight? No. No, but yeah, it's just a bad night from Towns, bad night from D'Lo, worst night from Wancho somehow. But
on here all the time.
Yeah. You got a new subscriber. Appreciate that. But yeah, so there's your game recap. That's a fun time. I will say, after we always do this, after talking about the players and grading them, I always am like, okay, I feel way worse now. But I still will stand by my initial reaction of we lost to the Suns. The Suns are the best team. Clearly, we've also talked about that many times. There really wasn't a reason that we should beat them other than you could maybe say Chris Paul being out. But again, as we said, they're just a very disciplined team, top to bottom. I knew when we were up 14 or 15 or 16 or whatever it was, no one expected us to be like, yeah, we're trouncing them by 30 tonight. That was not happening. We knew that they were going to chip away. We thought we might have. I think in my mind, I thought we had a chance to not make a comeback, but hold a little bit of that lead going into the fourth, and maybe give ourselves a chance to win. But with no D'Lo present tonight, and Towns taking himself out with 8 or 9 minutes left in the game, there just wasn't. There really just wasn't a way to win this game unless. There just wasn't, because I kept thinking to myself, like, what if Ant goes crazy, or what if Taurean or Beasley just start hitting 3 after 3 after 3? It doesn't matter because the Suns are going to score. They're going to come back down and score. It's winning time. This is what they do. They are too mentally tough, and they've got Booker, who's a closer. They have Ayton, who's unstoppable. There's nothing we could do even if we stopped them every other possession. We'd have to make every single shot, and it just wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, and their second best player is out and has been out with a thumb. Like, he's just going to kill it in the playoffs because I'm sure he's fully healthy, just resting a thumb, right? Yeah. Like, that's all that's happening right now.
True.
The mantra with the story about Chris Paul has always been he's gotten his team this far and then can never get all the way because he hurts a hamstring, hurts an ankle or an injury, whatever. I don't know. Something happens to him and then he fails to produce and gets this team all the way. Mm-hmm. This has been so good for Phoenix because they've been able to coast. They could coast for the rest of the season. However, they're still kicking ass with Cameron Payne as their starting point guard. It's so dumb. Yeah. This is the best team in the NBA according to the records and the standings and all of that. Like, do you believe that?
Do I believe that the Suns are the best team?
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. So what's crazy is that we lost, and I'm kind of down. I'm kind of worrying a little bit of our team, but we just lost to the best team in the league. So should we really be that worried? We
No.
kind of expected the loss anyways.
I think it would have been a really fun win. If we win tonight, that's like, okay, the Timberwolves series are something to be messed with, and other teams are going to have to take us really seriously in the play-in or playoffs or whatever it may be. Not to say that losing to them makes other teams not have to care about us, because clearly we've been hot lately, and we're still being talked about in national media, even though it's not a ton, a little bit.
Stop talking about us, national media.
But yeah, stop talking about us. But no, we knew that the 3 games this week, and even next week, are going to be tricky. I mean, we play the Mavs. We played the Mavs on Monday, played okay, and we're really, really close. Tonight we played good for a lot of the game. Weirdly, we fought. We were up by 14 at half or something like that. But then the best team in the league came to play, and they beat us. And you could say that maybe they took Towns out of the game. Maybe it wasn't Towns. But I think from us, we know Towns, and Towns took himself out of the game. D'Lo took himself out of the game. And at times took himself out of the game. So this is a Timberwolves thing. But on top of it, it's playing the best team. So we play the Mavs on Friday. That's a tricky one. And that's a must-win game for me, personally, if you have any real hopes to get that 6th seed. Because sure, you could say, oh yeah, you play Denver in the first week of April, and if you win there, that's an automatic game back. But if we lose tomorrow, what if Denver wins tomorrow or the next game or whenever they play? What if they win? Then we're 2.5 games back, with only like 7 games to go or something like that. That doesn't look good. So you basically have to win tomorrow. Foolishly, perhaps, I'm expecting a win tomorrow. I keep saying tomorrow. We have to win Friday.
Wow.
I think we will win on Friday. Maybe that's foolish, but I do think we will. I think we're going to be playing with some energy because we just lost twice, even though they're the good teams. I think there's just pressure, and I think we're going to come out strong and maybe catch. I mean, we just played the Mavs, so we shouldn't catch them off guard, but who knows? I think we'll win that. But after that, if we look at the schedule, we've got, what do we got? I know we have Boston on Sunday in Boston. We've got the Celtics, or not the Celtics. What am I saying? We play the Celtics on Sunday, and then we play the Raptors on Wednesday in Toronto. Semi-tough one. They've been good lately. And then we play Denver. So I mean,
this is so scary.
It's scary, but the good news here is that the last 4 games of the season likely will be pretty good games for us to at least get some momentum going into the playoffs. We play Rockets, Wizards, Spurs, and then the last game of the season is against the Bulls, but the Bulls have been not great lately, and they've been injured. And realistically, at that point, they might
rest.
Because they've been so injured. I think they're strong enough to beat a lot of teams in the East, and they'd want to be healthy to do so. So why risk if they don't have anything to play for on the 10th? I think we expect nothing to happen from them. So
yeah, and then what about us though? At the same time, like, what if we're like locked into the 7th seed?
If we're locked in, I think it's the same thing. You maybe want to rest. I mean, I don't know if Cat needs rest, but rest Cat. Ant, if his knees are bothering him, which it seems like they aren't, but if they are, then obviously give him a rest. Vanderbilt's been banged up. Pat Bev's been banged up here and there. Give those players rest if they need it. But I think my hope is that there's still something to be played for in April. I'm hoping that over these next 3 games, in the last 3 games of March, it isn't like 7th seed is just it. That's just destiny. Because that would suck. But
yeah,
I don't know. What do you think? Do you think Friday is a must-win if you want to win that 6th seed?
I'm just gonna keep saying it until we win. I feel like Monday was a must-win and it didn't happen. I feel like Wednesday tonight was a must-win. It didn't happen. Shout out to Maddie for going to a game. Probably was a fun game. To have that experience, it's pretty cool. To kind of validate this hobby of ours. Anywho, Friday is a must-win, my friend. I think it has to be because we have to respond to what just happened. We got punked in the fucking second half.
Yeah.
We played so well apparently in the first half. We played like dogs out there in the first half. Why did that sustain? Why did the halftime adjustments say, you know what, we can relax, we can clap back and we can get, flagrants. Like what made that okay? Like it didn't. And Cat's kind of saying the small things in post game about like we're fighting for a 6 seed, we're fighting for this, that, or the other. But should we be resting? Should we be fighting? No, we got to be trying right now. That's great. I hate words so much. I need you to be like doubling up on everything right now. That 60-point game has left our memories, my friend.
Yeah, it seriously
come back to us
so quickly. God, that's sad. But yeah, it's a must win. I'll say I was a little down on Monday just because it was such a winnable game. We could have won that game so easily. And almost did. We almost did off of some crazy stuff that normally happens to the Timberwolves where we miss a free throw, get the rebound with a couple seconds left. But then tonight I wasn't so down because, although we were really down about like Towns and D'Lo and them, I'm still not that down about the game because it was just the best team. But Friday is a good indication. Now, another thing to think about Friday's game, it's playing the same team we played on Monday. So although it's not back-to-back games, so it's not like a series, it kind of is a mini-series. We are playing the same team. Now you're at home. Okay, I think if you win Friday's game, that shows toughness. And this team has shown toughness throughout the year. We've come back from tough losses. We've come back from losing streaks into winning streaks. I do think that if we come back and win on Friday, that's a good sign. And even if that doesn't guarantee us, obviously we're nowhere near guaranteeing us a 6th seed, but even if that doesn't give us any additional room towards or games towards the 6th seed, I think that shows a stronger team that I feel a little bit more confident about going into the play-in and playoffs. But if we lose Friday at home, that's bad. That's really bad because then you're going on the road, and that's going to hurt. You play at Celtics, at Raptors, at Denver, and that could be the end of any hopes for the 6th seed. So, but as always, we will be live after each one of those games. It is going to be exciting. It's going to be emotional. We are going to be up. We are going to be down. And this is when winning basketball. This is when meaningful basketball happens. And this is fun. I think we do need to kind of take a step back as a Timberwolves fan because it's like, hey, when have we been?
How far we got?
Yeah, look at us. Look at the marches for the last 20 years. How many we can count on one finger how many times we've had a meaningful march in the last 18 years. So I'm happy. I'm enjoying this. Going to the Timberwolves game, seeing the fans cheering, standing up, even without D'Lo telling them to, standing up, engaged in the game, full people sitting at the very last seats of the upper deck because it's so full. It's fun. This is fun. Although we're complaining about things, this is fun. We have to enjoy it somehow because we know that next season this could easily be gone. And we've experienced that many times. So
that's great perspective.
I'm having a good time, and I think we need to. The only way I don't end this season happy is if we lose both playing games. If we lose both playing games, it is back to rebuild Cameron because I cannot handle 2 losing games to the play-in seeds, which we are so far ahead of in the standings. It would hurt me. I get Paul George might come back or whatever, Norman Powell, that obviously would be a bummer. But if we were to lose to that 10-9 seed matchup too, yikes. That would be bad. But Suns, man, we get so many Suns fans tonight.
What's up, 51-52? Suns Seriously. Put that work in. Clap, clap, clap. Clap, clap, clap. Hold on. Clap, 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 clap.
There
nice.
We go.
I like that. I agree with you.
We do. I know all the Suns fans are coming here to maybe celebrate in our faces, but guess what? We're celebrating for you. We're big fans. Maybe I'm a big fan. I'm
not really a fan, but
I'm a big fan of the Suns. I think the Suns look really good, and I expect them to win it all. I am at the point where I expect them to win it all.
Booker went to the line 16 times. Cat went to the line 3 times. Is this a ref game? I don't think so, but the refs had something to do with it. But we don't want to blame them.
Now the refs,
we get into those little mini micro battles, the game within the game with the refs, and we should just take over the game instead of doing that. I don't know, man. It's just weird, right?
You bring up the refs. So weirdly, Oh, fam, we're just excited. No one covering us. Yeah, that is. You guys are silently this like best team in the league. It's weird. Um, but
Yeah.
um, but I am speaking your praises nightly. So, anyways, one thing you bring up, the refs. I don't think the refs were an issue tonight. I also don't think they were an issue that bad on Monday either. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just didn't see that being that egregious of a game. But they actually took a technical foul away in the first half tonight. Actually, you gotta rewatch the first half. It was so crazy. It was getting like chippy. It was crazy. We were winning in these chippy moments. It was fun. And Ant had like this foul that was first called like an offensive foul. He argued, got a technical, and then they rescinded the tech and gave the ball back to us. It was like the craziest thing. You have to see it. But
Yeah, I'll make sure to check it out.
but yes, and everybody, I encourage everybody else, if you can, rewatch the game. It is super fun. Also, if you're new here, like the stream. I think we're at like 12 likes. If we get to like over 15 or even 20 likes, that would
Let's
be
do it
insane.
before we end the show in 25, 35, maybe in 2.5 hours.
Subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get more subscribers before the playoffs, and if you want to, join our Discord. We have discussions about every game. So, Suns fans, if we end up playing you in the first round, we're going to be having a lot of convos in our Discord. And Timberwolves fans, we have free ticket alerts when they happen in the Discord. So, check it out. But I think that's all I have tonight. Fun basketball, even though we lost. Any final thoughts from you tonight?
Nope. See you on Friday, my friend.
See you on Friday. I like it.
My friends. I'm sorry.
52 wins and 51 wins are now off the table. So both of those are gone. 50 wins is still possible, though. So we'll see you at 50 wins at the end of the seasons.
Dude, we're playing Dallas, Boston, Toronto. I don't think 50 wins is possible.
50 wins is possible. You gotta believe. But anyways, I appreciate that Arizona Cardinals, Phoenix Suns on God. I appreciate that. Same. Look at this. I appreciate.
There we are.
Look, Phoenix, we're friends now. We're friends.
Rooting for you guys in the playoffs because I don't want the others to win primarily.
True. I don't want anybody else to win. So, anyways, it was good chatting with everybody. We had big numbers tonight. I appreciate you all for subscribing, liking, joining the Discord, all that stuff.
Hugely numbers, bigly numbers.
So we will see you Friday night after the game. It'll be similar to this game. I'm going to the game, so it might be a little bit later, but check out Timberwolves Daily before if he does a show, and then we'll be on. Cool. Anyways.
Big brag from you.
As the outro, 50 coming in hot. We'll see you on Friday night. I'm